Hello and welcome to the Oakland Lane YouTube channel. My name is Becca Oakes. I'm an owner and craft educator here at Oakland Lane. I am so excited to finally have the new Cricut Venture here in our studio. In today's video, I'm going to give you all the information that you might need to know in order to know whether or not this machine is for you. Like you may already know, Cricut has several machines in the lineup, from the small itty bitty Cricut Joy to the Explorer Air 2, the Makers, and now the Venture. So let's get into all of the details about the Venture. I'm not going to be making any projects in this video. We will have upcoming project videos for you all with lots of different titles and fun things that we'll be making. I will show you 4 different projects that you can make with the Cricut Venture, but today's video is just all about it. So the first question that most people are asking is, how much is the Cricut Venture? Cricut Venture at the time of this video is $999. Now that's just for the machine and what comes in the box, and we'll get into what comes in the box in a little bit. If you want the dock stand with the Cricut, then you're looking at $1,249. Now you do not have to have the stand in order to use the Cricut Venture properly or even well. As you can see, we don't have the stand. When I went to purchase our Cricut Venture, it was not available, so I didn't get it, and then I've put it on this table, and I really like this table. The size of the Cricut Venture, the weight is right under 35 pounds, so it's a pretty heavy machine, and I'm looking at notes right now so that I don't mess this up for you all. The length and width are 34.8 inches by 10.4. So it's a pretty big machine. You're going to need a good, solid, sturdy table. And we just like this nice table. It rolls and it still has room for working behind it and our Cricut Caddy and things like that. So I'm thinking, honestly, I may not get the stand after all. Advantages to getting the stand: it does have the little cradles so that if you're using large rolls of vinyl or something like that, then it will catch that. And then also you can store the mats in that stand as well. So just weigh out those factors and decide whether it's for you or not. But like I said, I don't really think that I'm going to be getting the stand after all. So the Cricut Venture is currently the fastest machine that Cricut has. We will definitely be doing testing with it and the Maker and it and the Explorer series machine a little bit later. It does cut up to 24 inches if you are using matless material. So up to 24 inches in width by 12 feet in length, or 75 feet if you are using a repeating pattern. You can use the 25-inch smart materials or the 13-inch smart materials that Cricut uses. And if you don't like smart materials, it's not a big deal at all. You can still use mats. The mats are huge improvement and a huge difference. We'll take a look at those in a little bit and talk about that as well. As with the Explorer series and Maker series machines, you can connect to your Cricut via Bluetooth or USB. There is a USB A and USB-C cord that come with the Cricut, and as always, if you connect via USB cord, then the connection is more reliable and quicker. So like I mentioned earlier, the mats are a huge difference here. You can see this mat is huge. It does still have the protective covering like the other mats, but this mat is 24 by 28 inches. The mats come in the light grip, standard grip, and strong grip. Just like the Cricut, there is not a fabric grip mat for this one, and the colors are blue, green, and purple, just like the other ones. The tone of the color is a little bit different, and I actually really like the colors. In addition to the 24 by 28 inch mat, there's also a 12 by 24 inch mat. Now you might be saying there was already a 12 by 24 inch mat with Cricut. The Explorer series machine and Maker series machines use the 12 by 24, and it is in a portrait mode orientation. The 12 by 24 Venture is in a landscape orientation. I have done a little bit of research, and the mats for the Venture are made differently than for the Explore Series machine and Maker. These mats are more durable. They are made to withstand the extra speed and extra pressure that the Venture gives. You cannot use the Explore Series or Maker Series mats with the Venture, so you will need some other mats. With this large mat, you can cut up to 23 3/4 by 27 3/4 on the mat. So that is a huge, huge improvement. In addition to those large sizes, you can also do really big print and cut, and we'll look at a print and cut in just a little bit. But gone are the days when we were all crying that 6.75 by 9.25 inches was the biggest print and cut that we can make with our Cricut, right? Now you can print and cut up to 24 inches by 28 inches. That is huge. In fact, most of us don't have printers that will even print that large. I know here in the studio, our printer, our wide format printer, will only print 13 by 19. So we're definitely going to have to invest in a larger printer to really get the use of the print and cut with this Venture. Now let's talk about what comes in the Venture box. Now I'm talking about if you just purchase the Venture, not the Venture with the supply kit or the Venture with the stand, just the Venture by itself. Obviously you get the machine, you get one large standard grit mat, you will get your power cord, and then you get a USB-C and a USB-A cord that you can connect to your machine with. In addition, you also get a cleaning kit that has a little brush and a lint-free towel type thing, and then another cleaning tool. And then also you get roller support. So these roller supports clip in the back, and I'll show you on the overhead in just a second how to do that. So here are the roller supports, and if you purchased your Venture with the docking stand, you do not need these. The docking stand will also give your rolls of smart vinyl support, but if you are doing a really long cut with a really large roll of vinyl, then you're going to want to be able to support that roll of vinyl so that it doesn't go everywhere. So there are two little kind of slots back here that these just pop right into. And then you put your roll here and feed it into the top. And while we're on this angle, I also want to include that the machine comes with a mat support. So with those really large mats, you need the mat support. And I'll show you here. This button right here, when you push it, these things come up. And then the additional support goes in the back like this. There's a little almost cradle for it right here. This part just pushes right in. And then these clip on just like this. And then you have that extra mat support. Here's a front-facing view of the mat support, and then you can see on the bottom that piece goes out too. To remove it, it's really easy. It just comes off like this. So one thing that I want to point out, and it was something that was a little bit confusing to me, was I was trying to figure out how to close the mat support, and it wouldn't close. You might notice on the bottom, I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but there, when you put the mat support, when you push that button, along here, these little supports also come out that hold the mat in place. And if those are out, you cannot close these. It won't close. So to close that, you can push down on this. And then once those little supports go in, when they're flush, then you can close this as well. So I don't know if that is helpful to you or not. That was one thing that I struggled with for a little bit. In the box, the machine also comes with this little handy cutting tool. The cutting tool has a nice spot at the top that you place it so that you don't lose it. And then I also want to show you on the overhead how easy it is to use this cutting tool. It was a very well thought out tool, and the way that it's used is really nice. You can see here where the tool is. And here is a close-up of it. You can also buy replacement tool cutter or cutting tools if you happen to lose this one, but the blade is right here. It is protected back down in here, so you don't have to worry about cutting yourself. But the way that you use it, especially if you are using smart material without a mat, we'll say there is smart material in here and it's hanging right here. My cut is finished. Right along here is a little kind of divot, kind of a little canyon all the way across. And so you just place your cutting tool right in there, slide like this with the blade toward the material, and you can cut your vinyl like that. It's very easy. Now, Cricut also created a tool that's the automatic cutoff blade that goes in clamp A. You do have to purchase this separately. It is not included with the machine. But if you put that in clamp A and select that you want it automatically cut off, then after your machine cuts, it will automatically cut it off for you. Again, that is not a necessity. It's just something that's neat. I, however, kind of think it's a little bit of a waste of material because of the way that it cuts it off. So be careful about that. While we're on this angle, I want to talk about how we adjust our machine for use with 13-inch smart materials or 25-inch smart materials, or the 12 by 24-inch mat versus the 24 by 28-inch mat. So let's move this back a little bit. If I am using the 12 by 24-inch mat or the 13-inch materials, then I only need this part of my machine. This right here is referred to as the pinch roller, which is a little bit confusing because I thought maybe you would have to pinch it and then move it. You don't have to, it just moves. But there are numbers on this bar, and you can't see the numbers on the bar if this lever is down. So you'll need to pull that lever up, and you can see there's a number 1 and a number 2. You also can't move this if the lever is down, so it has to be pulled up. Number 1 is for the 13-inch or the 12 by 24. To get the larger 25-inch, smart materials or the 24-inch mat, you just pull this over to the second setting. So 1 for smaller, 2 for larger. Now, if you're going to the larger setting, you're also going to have to open up these clips right here. This clip needs to be opened. This one on the right needs to be opened. And this one in the center would need to be closed if I wanted the larger. Now, if I want to go back to the smaller, I just move it over, close this one, and open up this one. Very, very easy. Now, a couple of things differ on using this machine. And like I said, we will have videos on how to use this coming up in this next week. But there still is the load and unload button, the play button or start button, and the pause button. In addition, you have this lever. This has to be open in order for you to feed your material in. And then you close it, and then you press your load unload button. But all of these steps are in Design Space for you. It helps you. It is absolutely wonderful. It's such a fun machine, and it's honestly really easy to use. So in addition to this machine and the dock stand, Cricut also released a couple other things, and I did mention a little bit earlier about the automatic cutoff blade that you can put in clamp A. The other things that were released are chunky permanent markers that you can use in clamp A, and these markers are pretty cool because they are 2.5 millimeters. You would remove this part in clamp A, just place that marker down in there, and it gives you a good thick drawing with your Cricut Venture. So that's really nice. The only thing I don't love about it is it only comes in 4 colors. It comes in black, blue, red, and green. Hopefully they add some more colors to that, but I really like where they're going with it. In addition, they also created cardstock that's 24 by 28 inches, so you can use that on your large mats. It comes in 14 different colors. It is a little bit pricey, but it's good cardstock. We also have the 25-inch smart vinyls, and you might be able to see these back here. I did buy a starter kit, material kit with our machine, and so we did get some smart vinyl, some smart iron-on, and some glitter, regular vinyl, and then also just regular iron-ons. We also got some transfer tape in the larger size as well. So these particular rolls are 25-inch by 5 feet, and then the transfer tape is 12 feet, so 24 inches by 12 feet. And in addition to that, The Cricut Venture also has a new-ish blade. So if you look at it in clamp B, the housing and the blade look like the regular precision blade and housing that you are used to in the Maker Series or the Explorer Series machine. However, this is a new performance precision blade, which means that it's a little bit stronger, a little bit more durable to help with the speeds and pressure that the Venture help give. You can use this blade, as always, like a bonded fabric blade, because bonded fabric blades are the same as precision blades. They're just set aside and marked specifically for use with bonded fabric. So grab another one of those and a new pink housing or something like that and mark it specifically for that, and you can cut bonded fabric with your Cricut Venture. Let's talk about some downers. In my opinion, this is the only thing about the machine so far that I've encountered that I'm not happy about. You cannot use the adaptive tools that go with your Maker in the Venture. I don't honestly care so much about like the wavy blade and the debossing tool. I do care about the scoring wheels. I really love my scoring wheels. They really help when you're doing 3D projects. And most importantly, I care about the rotary blade. That was the biggest bummer to me. I do use my rotary blade on my Maker a lot, and I was hoping I could use that on the Venture as well. So you cannot use the adaptive tools. Any tool that you can use in the Explorer Series machines, you can use in this, so that you can use the scoring stylus, you can use the foil tip, you can use the deep point blade, the fabric bonded precision blade. You can use the markers. You cannot use Cricut Joy markers in here. They will not fit, but you can use the regular markers as well. So lots of versatility there. This is a really great machine. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to see what all we can do with it. So let's really quickly, before we wrap this up, look at the projects that we can make with Cricut Venture. Before I look at those projects though, I do want to invite you all, if you love this video and if you love learning about new things like Cricut or different tools, different crafting techniques, we are for you here at Oakland Lane. We love to teach all about crafting, specifically Cricut, but we also dive into sublimation, into laser cutting, woodworking, home decor, clay, resin, and so much more. If you love to craft and would love a community to kind of walk hand in hand with you and just bounce ideas off of and say, hey, you know what, that project you made is really cute, because I feel like a lot of our friends and family don't really understand what we go through as crafters. They don't understand all the time and attention and tiny details that we put into things. And so it's important to have a community like the one that we have here at Oakland Lane to really rally with you and get excited with you. That's what we do here. In addition to being that sounding board and that support system, we also have a library of cut files that you can use with your Cricut machine or any die cut machine, as well with your laser cutter and sublimation printers. You get a free commercial use license with access to those files. In addition, you get our member only content. We do have free courses specifically teaching you how to craft with your Cricut, start to finish, from opening your box to creating your first project, learning all of the terminology, everything that you need to know. We are there to walk hand in hand with you in that Cricut journey. We also have a member only podcast for our Flock members and access to our private Facebook group. If you would love to join the membership, use the code 35OFF, so $35 off the annual membership, which makes it a super, super affordable membership. We hope you will join us and craft with us all the time. Now let's look at those projects. First and foremost, look how amazing and huge this snowflake is. So I used this, I cut out a piece of poster board, a 22 by 28-inch poster board, and just cut this out. It was really, really quick. I absolutely loved it, and I can imagine so many cute things. I'm thinking even our set at Christmas will have really giant snowflakes on it. Being able to cut this big is really exciting, especially on poster board and things like that. Next up, also cut out our poster board. This is an Oakland Lane. Actually, all of these that I'm sharing are Oakland Lane cut files, but this is a popcorn box, and we have little panels that go on it too. But scored it, cut it out, made a huge one, and before this would not have been possible. This would also cut out of a 22 by 28-inch poster board, and it was cut out right at 21.5 inches, which was the biggest I could do on that specific piece of poster board, huge, right? Like this would not have been possible with my maker unless I pieced a bunch of things together. It was done really quickly. This is just one of our logos that I cut out using the smart vinyl and the smaller setting here on the Cricut Venture. It cut out super, super quick. And I do have to say, in the past, I've been a hater of Cricut Smart Vinyl. The very first time that it came out and I was using it, I did not love it. It was super hard to weed and transfer. I was not a fan, but they have upped their game. I wouldn't say it's still my favorite vinyl, but it's much, much, much better than it was. It was super easy to weed this, and I actually didn't hate it. I kind of enjoyed it. And then last, this is my favorite, a huge print and cut. Now, again, you can make it even larger than this. This is right under 18 inches because, like I mentioned earlier, our wide format printer will only print 13 by 19, but it could have been up to 24 by 28 inches if we had a printer that would have printed it. This is such a game changer. I love print and cut. It's my favorite thing to do with Cricut. And so having these huge print and cut capabilities is super, super exciting to me. I hope you enjoyed this video and that I was able to answer whatever questions you may have about the Cricut Venture. If I didn't cover something you have a question about, make sure you leave a comment below. We will do our best to answer that for you. If you have any other questions about this or about crafting in general, make sure you leave those comments as well. Let us know what other content that you like to see. And if you have any specific questions about membership or crafting, you can always email us hello@oaklandlam.com. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you here another day for another video.